Nick!
What's up, Adam? How are you?
Hey man, it's the Mind Over Money shirt.
It is the Mind Over Money shirt.
That's what we're talking about today, right? Mind over money? Or is it time over money?
Time is money.
Time is money. It is.
Mind over time.
Time.
Money.
Overtime money. How about that?
Money. Ah, okay.
Anyway, hey, the seasons changed a little bit. We have sprung forward according to daylight savings. And so we got to talk about what happens when you lose hours in a day.
Yeah.
First of all, does that impact you?
It does.
How so?
So, first of all, I lost time. And I don't like losing anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not patient enough to wait till fall.
There you go.
So I got to figure out some way to make up that lost time. But it definitely impacts, everything has moved forward. So it really is having me question, I just lost an hour.
Yeah.
And beyond just 1 hour for, until fall, what if I lost an hour every single day of my life? Like instead of 24 hours, I had 23 hours every day. How could I potentially make that up?
Right.
Yeah, it's a good question. Ask yourself.
Great question.
Yeah. That was on the spot too.
That was, man. That was really deep. Interestingly, the whole idea of time and how much your time is worth, for me, went back to the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Mm-hmm. And in it, he was talking about the new rich, and the new rich who might only work 20 hours a week but make $50,000 a year are, in fact, wealthier in time than someone who makes $100,000 a year but has to work 60 hours a week or even 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And so that whole idea of making my time more valuable was a really interesting kind of mental exercise for me. Yep. And what drew me to speaking, because you make good money in a short amount of time.
Sure.
So there was a question posed that I thought was kind of fascinating. Mm-hmm. And it was, if you had $86,400 to spend every single day, would you be really diligent about how you spent them?
Definitely. And I think, and you couldn't carry them over to the next day, right?
Correct.
Okay. No, yes, I would. I would make sure that I spend each one of those dollars very carefully.
Yeah.
And I would make sure that I use them. I would not just be like, done, I can waste it.
I had 30,000 left over.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
So we each have 86,400 seconds in a day, and yet we don't necessarily spend them the way that we could probably spend them.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of springing forward had me thinking about losing an hour, and I was thinking through where am I losing time? So that's my question to you and to the viewers and listeners.
Yep.
Where are you losing time? What are you doing that is actually burning daylight or losing time for you?
I would say hitting snooze is literally one of those things where I'm supposed to be up at a particular time, but I then sleep for another hour or 20 minutes, whatever the case is.
Yep.
I would say that I'm losing time, in traffic. When I used to live in Los Angeles, that was definitely a time waster. And then there are certain times when I'm on social media that is just... There are times when I'm using it to expand my business and grow and share and connect, but there are times when I'm just, scrolling. And it's like a total waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in Sedona for the Build a Bigger Life retreat.
Yep.
And you made a comment about you'd like to eliminate driving.
Yeah.
And you made some comment that you had spent more time in the car in 2 days.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I spent more time in the car being in Los Angeles in 2 days than I had in the 19 days that I was in Des Moines.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. That's why I love Des Moines. In a previous episode, that's why everyone's super jealous of us being here.
Now, what I'm curious is, do people in LA just listen to a whole lot more podcasts, or what? I mean, what are they doing in their car?
Oh, that's a loaded question, I feel like. I mean, for me, I definitely was conscious about, when I taking it back, when I used to work at The Honest Company, I was spending about 4 hours a day commuting. An hour and a half, to Santa Monica, 2.5 hours on the way back home.
Wow.
And so, there was only so much French I could learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so many podcasts, etc., right? So, but I think, so I would need to switch it up. I need to listen to music. But when I listened to music, I then felt guilty because I wasn't learning something. So there was a whole conversation of what do I do with my time? particularly that, I'm focused on the road and my hands are busy and stuff
Right.
like that. So there wasn't much that I really could do
Right.
to provide value. So, or to add value to my life. So, it's a combination of things. Yeah.
I'm doing the head math here. So if someone's making $100,000 a year,
Yep.
and they're worth $50 an hour,
Okay.
okay, so you would essentially lose the ability to make $200 a day in driving 4 hours,
Yeah.
which is the equivalent of making an extra $48,000 a year
Yeah.
just in that drive.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's half of
That's
your
a
earning.
lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Time is money.
So I was thinking about this in terms of where my time is
Yeah.
misspent,
Uh-huh.
not invested.
Yep.
And what I realized was I would get done with a Twitter session, and it was like, Twitter is amazing because it's the infinite scroll, and there's nothing good. I mean, there's good stuff, but most of it's negative, and there's comments, and some of it's funny and it's entertaining.
Yep.
But it literally is mental chewing gum.
Yeah. Mental chewing gum.
And I would do it. I would like continue to blow bubbles, and I'm like, floating through Twitter. And finally, this past weekend, I just said, I'm done. I'm deleting Twitter off my phone. If I want to look at it, I got to go on my computer. And when I do, I don't spend a lot of time.
Sure.
So it's no longer that massive break for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which I think I'm going to make some money.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, because if I spend an hour a day on Twitter, using the same example that we did for the drive,
Yep.
let's say I'm worth $50 an hour, and I was spending an hour on Twitter a day, which is a lot, but I don't think it was that much.
Uh-huh.
But that's $250 a week,
Yep.
$1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. So the question that I have for listeners and viewers is this: if you put a dollar amount on your time, and you were paid to not be on social media, would you take that money? So if someone's making $50 an hour, and you could claw back an hour a day, but you got $12,000 in return, would you do it? Would you?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, no brainer.
And my sense is that somebody would make that much if they just took that time and put it into something
Yep.
productive.
Yeah. Because, nature is taking time from us. It's like not fair.
It's not fair.
I'm going to take time back.
I want my money back.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of different ways that people are doing this. I have a lot of friends who are really into meal prepping. Not only does that save them money because they're, cooking the food and eating and buying in bulk, etc., but they're also cooking on Sunday nights for the remainder of the week. So
Yes.
they don't need to, drive to a restaurant, sit, order, eat, etc. They just, either put it in the microwave oven or it's already made, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And, they don't, it's one less thing that they need to think about.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you think of other things that would really,
Well,
ways to reclaim time? Other than
Yeah. Well, so one of the things we do a lot is we use the 80-20, the Pareto principle. And the Pareto principle is based on an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto, who used to say that 80% of the income came from 20%, or 80% of the wealth was held by 20% of the Italians. And then they realized that it was true on a whole number of fronts, like 80% of the garden comes from 20% of the seeds, 80% of your income comes from 20% of your clients. So when you start using 80-20 to reclaim time, you spend the most amount of focus time on the 20% efforts that generate 80% of your results. Right?
Yep. That's brilliant. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't claim it.
Another thing that we do really with the focus of the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, is another strain of that really would be by compressing time. So when we're creating things, oftentimes if there is no set deadline or time that we need to stop, time can kind of expand and take the amount of time
Right.
given.
Totally.
And so we compress time where if we need to really produce a podcast or write a blog article or, do the dishes, whatever the case is, I'll give myself 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It increases that level of focus, and it also has me focus on the 20% of things that will produce 80% of the results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it's this idea known as batching. So when you're batching, you are blocking off a period of time, and that's all you do during that period of time. in addition to batching, there is something called, is it or not, solo focusing? What is it called?
Deep work?
Yeah, basically deep work.
Okay, monotasking?
Monotasking, that's the word I was looking for.
It's funny how I knew that, huh? That's crazy.
Where's the applause? There it is. So when you're monotasking, you're only doing that one thing. And we were talking about this over the weekend about how much email really eats up people's time.
Yep.
But the way it eats time is you pull up your phone and you look at email and then you read it, but you don't answer it. And now it's gray. And what I've always heard is that a dark email means that you've not read it. And a gray email is one that you've just chosen not to do anything with at this time, which is a gigantic time suck.
Yeah.
So if you are monotasking, if you're an email hound, what I want you to do is just set a timer for 30 minutes or 18 minutes and race the clock and answer as many emails as you possibly can in that amount of time.
Yep.
That would be batching and monotasking and 80-20 all in one.
Yeah.
How about
It
that?
saves time.
I do.
That's
It saves
awesome.
time. Did I just save time by
You
saying
did.
that?
You just did. Wow,
Sweet.
that was awesome.
We should wrap up to save our viewers time.
All right, goodbye.
Until tomorrow. Like, subscribe, join us, the Mastery Podcast. Adam, Nick. Peace. Oh, did you push it down here?
I kind of pushed it.